India, a nation with a population of approximately 1.4 billion, is home to around 28 million Christians. That's just about 2% of the country's vast population. Yet, despite being such a small minority, Christians in India face significant and growing challenges in practicing their faith, particularly in 23 of the country's 28 states. According to a report by the New Delhi-based civil society organization, the United Christian Forum, Christians are subjected to discrimination and violence on a daily basis. This alarming trend covers a wide range of abuses: physical violence, murder, sexual assault, intimidation, social boycotts, damage to religious properties, desecration of religious symbols, and even disruption of prayer services. Back in 2014, before the Hindu nationalist Bharatiya Janata Party, the BJP, came to power, there were fewer than 100 incidents of violence against Christians. By 2018, this number had nearly tripled to about 300 incidents. 2022 saw an all-time high of more than 600 violent incidents against Christians, and in just the first half of 2023 alone, there were 400 incidents spread across 23 states, a deeply disturbing upward trend. Persecution of Christians in India takes many forms: mob violence. Communal groups violently harass and attack Christian churches and pastors, especially in remote areas. Government abuse. Laws in several states that claim to prohibit forced conversions are often misused to criminalize even peaceful sharing of the Christian gospel. Barriers to conversion. Poor Christians and Muslims are frequently denied government benefits that are available to Hindus, creating huge obstacles to conversion. Social pressure. Religious minorities are ostracized and denied basic rights, such as access to water sources or even burial grounds. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's administration has been accused of fostering an environment of religious intolerance, where Hindu nationalists act with almost complete impunity. Extremist groups often attack Christian communities with little fear of punishment, while survivors face fabricated criminal charges instead of justice. Reports from the Evangelical Fellowship of India indicate that the northern regions of India, especially Uttar Pradesh, are hotspots for anti-Christian violence. In 2022 alone, Uttar Pradesh recorded the highest number of incidents, at 275. Many pastors and believers were arrested on baseless allegations of forced conversions. Christians who convert from Hinduism face relentless pressure and violence, living under constant threats to renounce their new faith. Church leaders are especially targeted in an attempt to create fear across entire communities. False accusations of forced conversions are the most common excuse. In Uttar Pradesh alone, 155 such incidents were recently reported. Bureaucratic delays often result in prolonged imprisonment for those accused, without trial. Policies under the BJP government have been described as discriminatory and divisive, fueling violence against minorities and creating an environment of fear across India. One tragic case is that of Stan Swami, an 83-year-old Jesuit priest and human rights activist. He died in custody in 2021, awaiting trial on counter-terrorism charges. His death exemplifies the scale of discrimination against religious minorities. In Arunachal Pradesh, Christians have been denied burial rights, with villagers threatening to cremate their bodies against their wishes. During the Christmas season of 2022, Christians in this state faced expulsion from their homes, physical attacks, and destruction of property. In May 2023, a U.S. government panel recommended that President Biden blacklist India over concerns about religious freedom. The panel noted that the treatment of minorities has continued to worsen under Prime Minister Modi. This was the fourth consecutive year that such a recommendation was made. The escalating persecution of minorities in India is a dire human rights crisis. It demands immediate global attention. The surge in violence and systemic discrimination highlights a disturbing trend: rising religious intolerance and political repression under the current administration. This has created an environment where religious minorities face increasing threats to their safety and their basic right to practice their faith freely. To combat these violations, the US government must remain vigilant against India's disinformation campaigns. India's religious minorities expect the US to apply diplomatic pressure and consider targeted sanctions, as recommended by the panel, to push the Indian government to safeguard their rights and uphold the fundamental principles of religious freedom. It is critical not to be misled by false narratives, but instead to hold the Indian government accountable for the persecution of its minorities.